I'm not gonna script this video, I just wanna talk. Basically, I used to want so badly for somebody to come and save me. My entire childhood, it was literally constantly dreaming about, oh my gosh, I want somebody to save me from my parents and this house that I'm in. I want somebody to come sweep me away. And later in life, it was, I wanna be able to not work. I want somebody to come and just make it so I don't have to work. I cannot convey how much I just wanted somebody to come and save me, someone to come and fix all of the problems in my life and the way I thought about myself and everything else like that. And that never happened. And I'm so glad that it didn't happen because it became me. I was the person who came and saved myself. And you can do that too. You are the only person who can do that too. Because if you are spending your entire life being like, I should do this, I should do this, I really wish I could do this, but I don't have the time. I really wish I could do that, but I don't have the energy. I don't have the money. I don't have the support system. Then your entire life is just going to be an idea. You're going to be constantly living in this fantasy realm instead of actually starting to take action and do the things that you want to do and live the life that you want to live. You can't wait for somebody to come along. So for me, I was waiting for somebody to say they wanted to go traveling with me because I was so terrified to go by myself. I didn't want to do that. And it wasn't until I was like, you know what? I really want this, and it's okay that nobody else wants to go. It's terrifying. It's so much scarier, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a go. Just give it a shot. See what happens. And I think that that applies to love as well. I wanted somebody to come in and completely understand me and know all my wants and my needs and be so easy to talk to and to not have to think and not have to turn my brain on. And I wanted this fantasy of an idea of love that does not exist because they require work. It's two people coming together and they could be the most amazing, most compatible people in the entire world, and they're still gonna have to learn how to communicate, how to love each other better, how to deal with the other's little quirks that happen and things that drive them crazy, even if they're small. I let go of so many friendships, so many love relationships, so many family relationships because I wanted them to read my mind, and I didn't want to take any responsibility for the part that I played because I was hurt. I was like, I don't get to take any responsibility because they hurt me. Instead of being like, I'm not communicating my boundaries well enough. Maybe I'm not having as much empathy as I should because I'm hurt, right? Maybe I, even though it's not fair, have more resources and more mental capacity than my parents do. And if I want to have a relationship with them, or if I want to just be a human with empathy, I have to acknowledge that they were trying the best that they could. And that doesn't mean I have to have a fully super involved relationship with them, but it does mean that I have to decide what kind of person that I want to be, what kind of daughter I want to be, what kind of friend I want to be. And my go-to for the longest time was just let go of everybody, right? I had and I still have this really toxic spiral of, I don't think people care about me as much as I care about them, right? And I'm okay with that. But it leads me to be like, okay, I'm fine on my own and I'm not very important to them, so I'm just going to distance myself. I'm just going to walk away. And that's okay. I'm not important in their life. They're important to me, but I'm okay with just walking away and giving them the space that it seems like they want. But they're not actually doing that. Maybe like once or twice, but most of the time they have never done that. And I'm just telling myself that. And then I realized years later, oh my gosh, I don't have any friends. Why don't I have any friends? It's because of the negative self-talk that I refuse to take responsibility for. I would have arguments and I'd be like, I want you to understand me. I want you to understand me. I want you to understand me with my fiance, not realizing that literally I was having no understanding for him. And it was the lack of responsibility that I was taking for every single area of my life. I hated my job for the longest time and I didn't take any responsibility for that. I was like, the world sucks. Capitalism sucks. This sucks. I hate it. And that led me to stay in jobs for way longer than I should have because I was so I viewed my life as something that was out of my control, and that is not the case. You have so much control over your relationships. You have so much control over your job, your life, where you live, all of this stuff. But I think we tell ourselves over and over and over and over again, we can't do it. We don't have the resources. We make so many excuses and blame other people for our lives being the way that they are. And I just don't think that it's talked about enough. And I don't think it's talked about enough in the areas that we don't think about it. The areas like love, like relationships with other humans, the areas like our jobs, the areas like more mental toxic thought patterns about ourselves and about other people, right? And it's just so important to me because my life completely changed once I started taking responsibility for all the areas. My mental space, my relationships, my exercise routine, my job, my mindset about the world around me, and I stopped shoulding myself. And what do I mean by shoulding myself? I mean should. I'm gonna make it very clear. I'm saying should right now. What I mean is I think, I should go work out. Oh, I should go film a YouTube video. Oh, I should go look for other jobs. Oh, I should do any number of things. I should fix the relationship with my parents. I should apologize. And I was shoulding my life away. And I know so many people who have done the same in my life. And I was just modeling after the behavior. But what happens when you say I should, is it's a double freaking whammy, because first of all, you're not present in the moment. You're making yourself unhappy with where you are in the moment because you're living in your brain. You're saying, I should go do this. You're living in a fantasy world that you're creating where you are doing that, right? But you're not actually aligning with that by making that action a reality in the moment, right? You're just having it live in your head and being like, and getting the dopamine hit from imagining it instead of going and actually doing it, right? And I think that a large part of what has to do with this is how much instant gratification we have, right? We want the instant gratification, so that's why we think about doing it, but then we don't actually do it because our brain gives us dopamine by just thinking about it, and then it feels like we've actually accomplished that, even though that's not true. And then 30 minutes later, we're at it again, where we're like, oh, I need that hit of dopamine. I need that hit of dopamine, but I don't want to actually have to put in work and be uncomfortable and do all of these other things to get there, right? And it wasn't until I realized that you have to be so uncomfortable for so long to learn anything. When I was in Europe, when I was there, I hated it. There were probably I could count on two hands the amount of times that I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing experience of my life. In the moment, looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And I learned so much and I became a completely different version of myself and person that I'm absolutely in love with. But in the moment, I hated it. And you wouldn't know that from all the pictures I was posting. You wouldn't know that from talking to me in the moment. But it was so hard. And I didn't know that traveling was so hard. Same with this YouTube channel. I didn't realize that it was so hard to film and edit and upload, and it gives me so much respect for everybody else out there who's doing this, because good Lord, it's a lot of work. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but the work is actually so gratifying. Like when I was in Europe and I would be completely lost and so scared, and then finally I would get to my destination, oh my gosh, the dopamine hit was crazy. It was like I was getting high on dopamine at the end. It was like a dopamine spike, and then I would crash because it was just really long days that were happening out there. But then the confidence that built in myself, the trust I had in myself to save myself, to figure things out, unmatched. So I feel like we have this misaligned idea that things should be easy, and they're not, and they shouldn't be, because if everything were easy, then what would be the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, you would get to the final result and you'd be like, all right, well, on to the next one. You wouldn't get as much or any gratification because it's not something that you worked for. If you just got it straight off the bat, you didn't have to struggle and you didn't have to try different things and learn different things and be frustrated for months on end about whatever it is. So I think that that's something that is so unbelievably important, especially in today's day and age, is that things should not be easy. Don't should yourself. Just start doing things, or acknowledge that that's not work that you're willing to put in, and live your life in the present moment. There's nothing wrong with either. Going and doing the thing you want to do, amazing. Or acknowledging that you want to be present in the moment and you don't want to do that, that's fine. But living in the fantasy world in your head takes away from your life currently, as well as the life that you could have. So yeah, this one is going to be a little bit shorter, I think, but I just wanted to talk about it. I just wanted to talk about it because it's living on my brain that I think people need to hear today, is that you have a beautiful, wonderful, amazing life. In order to live it to its fullest potential, you need to take responsibility for it, and you need to actually live it, not in your head. And that starts with acknowledging that it's not going to be easy, and that's okay. And that is actually amazing, because it means that your life is going to be so much more gratifying than you even realize if you actually start taking those steps. So my name is Anissa. This is a lot more of a video, and it's probably a lot shorter, but I love you guys so much, and I needed to say this and get this off my chest and put it out into the world, because I love humans, and humans are capable of so much, and we bog ourselves down and we make our lives miserable when they could be so freaking cool. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. I love you. Goodbye.